Good afternoon, everyone. It's Cail. Today I'm going to be working on Bubble Flower by Josephine Wall. It's a Diamond Deutschland canvas and drills, and it's a big project. There's a lot of confetti. So just grab whatever you're working on, or just sit and chill and watch, or while you're working or whatever. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. Um, I'm still testing the YouTube chat thingamabob, so let me go ahead and get the Spotify music going. The dogs are asleep right now. Little baby had lunch. She didn't eat it all, but sometimes she does that. She's a little finicky, but she's little, so that's fine. I'm not going to force her to eat if she's not hungry. Um, so I think that the neighbor had the yard guy over, but I think he's gone, so it should be fairly quiet. It's still warm here. It's like in the high 80s, I think, right now. So the AC may kick on. You might hear that. So I'm going to test the chat. Let me grab my phone. I don't know. These little widget things, they're just like too much. So let me see. So if I go here, I'm going to pause me and I'm just going to type in hello. Let's see if it shows up on the widget. Oh, helps if I hit send. Because I don't know how these things work, so maybe I need to just check the settings. It should just start, I don't know why it doesn't start like automatically, but nothing ever works the way it's supposed to these days. I don't know, it says the channel's there. It's just, maybe I need to go like this. Oh, there it is. Make it a little smaller, right down here. It showed up. Oh my god, something worked. Hallelujah. So, cool. Yay, yay, yay. Something's working. Okay, so I'm kind of over on, starting in the upper right of the canvas of the picture. And you can see the picture down there. There's a bunch of confetti, like right in here. So I went all the way across the top, right to left. And then I just am going down on this next like little strip. I'm just doing like little strips because there's so much confetti. If I get to a section that has a little bit more color blocking, I might do some multi-placing, but this is all like pretty much individual placing just because there's, I don't know, 50 colors right just in here. I did this earlier and I've been working here this morning earlier. Like, I wake up early, so we're talking 5 o'clock in the morning, diamond painting this section here. And then I just kind of took off this, the release sheet here. And then I'm just going to kind of go over this way. So the bubble flower picture is really, really pretty. And, but it's just, there's like, I don't know, let's see, does it say on the thing? Let's see, there's like over 200 colors. It's crazy insane. And I got it from Diamond Deutschland Painting. Diamond Painting Deutschland? Something like that. Anyways, they're out in Germany. Nice company. They're very helpful. And their canvases are actually not poured glue, unfortunately. I would prefer if they were poured glue, but they're the double-sided adhesive. So it's a little different to work with it. So I've kind of had to learn how to place the diamonds without totally screwing things up. I started with the Aquarius canvas, another Josephine Wall artwork, and it was also from Diamond Painting Deutschland, and I was not familiar with double-sided adhesive, so I really didn't know what I was doing. I think I might have even pulled off a little bit of the adhesive, maybe, I don't know, when I took off the release paper, this cover that's on here. And I think I kind of maybe like messed up the symbols in that one little area. I couldn't see them very well, and I almost actually gave up on the project. So I was a little hesitant to order from them again because I didn't know that I was the one that had created the issue. Right, like duh. And so when I got this canvas and I started looking at it and getting ready to work on it after I kitted up all the diamonds and so forth, um, I was like, wait, this canvas looks perfectly fine. I can see these symbols. I mean, they're small and I'm half blind, but I can see them well enough to diamond paint on it. They're crisp, they're clear. Um, so I was like, okay, what happened? So I went back to the other canvas and I started checking it out a little bit more and seeing what I was doing, what I had done. And it was like, okay, it looks like maybe I just kind of messed it up, or I wasn't doing it right, or I wasn't working with the double-sided adhesive very well. I couldn't get the diamonds to line up. There was gapping going on, and I was like, what is going on? Because I haven't had that problem before on another canvas, no matter, what company it came from. So after I laid it out on my island in my kitchen and really examined it, put it under some light, uh, and just kind of really rethought about what I had done and how it would work to do it, I figured I could continue on with it. So I'm glad I didn't toss the canvas. I just have it hanging on the wall over here behind the desk, and I'll rotate that in on my streams after I do a little bit of work on this one here. So yeah, that would have been a loss of money because it's not an inexpensive kit to get, and the shipping, all the way from Germany. I mean, it was reasonable, but still, I mean, I would have hated to get rid of it. And I really like the artwork since I am an Aquarius. Yeah, so I'm happy about that. And then this one here, I'm just going to go ahead and just continue doing what I can. The last couple days I've been working on Magic Potion. Despite my issues with allergies. So the ragweed season here is really bad. And it's just doing me in for some reason. It just makes me feel like really like my head's stuffed full of cotton and I'm living in some kind of like cotton world. Like, oh my God, why? It's killing me. So I stopped by to get my flu shot, which is something I do every year because I know it doesn't bother me any. My arm gets a little bit sore, but it does normally prevent me from getting the flu. So I will say that usually it works. The other C shot, I didn't get that one. I don't trust it. So because I don't know what's going on with that. So while I was at CVS, I asked the pharmacist. I was like, "Do you have anything else that would work for allergies? For head congestion, because I don't have chest congestion. It's just head congestion." So we was going to pull out from behind the counter, and why it's behind the counter. I mean, like, what's it got in it? Like meth or something? It's crazy. So it was Advil allergy. And I was like, well, okay, well, what's it got in it? What's going to make that any better than the Flonase, Zyrtec, and Claritin, and Tylenol sinus that I'm taking right now? And he said, oh, you're taking all that? And I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, yeah, you don't need this. It's like, you're already taking way more than enough drugs for the situation. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of what I figured. That there really wasn't anything else, just to kind of survive getting through this season. So, but he laughed and I thought that was funny. He was chuckling at me. I mean, what can I say? When I get desperate, because it's just the pain and the discomfort. You're just like, okay, I need some kind of relief. So this little symbol I'm working on is like a Pac-Man. I call it a Pac-Man symbol. So the diamond painting Deutschland or whatever canvases. They come, since there's so many colors, there's like a bunch of different symbols. So I've been kind of thinking about how I organized the drills in the storage. So I'm using these little storage pots. So you can see like the little symbols here. So you can see like these are all blue. So I've got 4 trays over here. I've got kind of like the beige light color going into gray, into green. Then I've got like the purples, the pinks, and maybe like the dark reds, reddish orangey colors underneath. Then I've got one that's blues going into like the blue greens, and then I've got the other oranges and browns in the last set. I did see somebody's video where they sorted them by symbol type, since there's so many. So say like you have, let me think of a symbol. So you have like these triangles. Let's see, these triangles, right? So she did all her triangles like this together. Here's like another triangle. So all of those would have been together. And then there's symbols like this with these little partial boxes. Some have dots, some don't, and the lines are all different directions. And I think she put all those together. And then like tech together. There's trees, there's buildings, there's a telephone, there's a robot, paper, it looks like a paper airplane. So she actually grouped the symbols, the diamonds together, like by symbol type. So I thought that was a really good idea. So maybe if I get around to reworking on the on another Josephine Wall, I would probably sort the drills that way. It looked pretty cool. It was a good idea. Didn't even occur to me. I was just like, let's just put them by color. At first I was going to do them numerical, but I was like, no, that's a nightmare. Because the number's not going to really tell me anything. I'm going by color. Because when you look down here, there's no numbers here. It's just symbols and colors. So I was like, well, let me just go by color. So say if I see like the green symbols, I know like which box to look in for the green drills. It's easier. Okay, so I'm kind of going, I'm trying to stay within these little 10 by 10 squares. It doesn't always work. And since I'm a little under the weather, it's probably like even more difficult. I know that when I was working in this section over here earlier, I kept missing some. I was like, oh man, there's another one of those. And I would have to go back and reopen that pot and then finish that one. So I'm trying to be somewhat organized when I do these. Like, geez Louise, this is a slow process. It's not quite as easy as doing magic potion. And you do have to kind of, I didn't do that right. I'm going to push that back down. There we go. So, I've been a fantasy book reader for a long time. I would say since I was about, say 11 or 12, 10, 11, somewhere in there was when I first read The Hobbit. It's my first fantasy book by J.R.R. Tolkien. So, of course, that just started a lifelong passion for fantasy. I also got into science fiction, but not as much as I get into fantasy. So, of course, Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time books are major fantasy series. And, of course, I've read it. It's been a while since I've read it. It's not necessarily something that's that easy or quick to reread. And, I've been reading some other books. Oh, hold on, my husband's calling. Well, you know what? You can just wait because I am streaming. It must be his lunch break. Anyhow, so I have read the Robert Jordan books. I did like them. I did enjoy them. I think it's a fabulous story with fabulous characters. He created a very complex, interesting world. The magic system is dual. It's between the male and the female side. Um, the he left me a message. The the story it's really good. Up there and like I don't know. I don't know as far as for me, but it's a top 10 fantasy series for the most part. From most websites I've seen, they always listed way up there. I'm like that makes sense. It's really good. So when I heard that they were going to do a TV show on the Wheel of Time books, I was like, oh, that's going to be so cool. That's going to be cool because here in my mind, the little mind that I have left as a boomer was it'll be, along the lines of Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings movies, right? Not the Hobbit stuff, but the Lord of the Rings. And I was like, fantasy, magic, it'd be really, really cool. Okay, so when season 1 came out, I was so hyped up. I was like, let's go. And I hadn't really paid much attention to the little marketing that they did for it. So I wasn't really aware that things may not go as I'd hoped. So I start watching. I'm in the living room with my spouse, who he likes fantasy, but he's not a fan. He's not a hardcore fan. He's kind of a normie. He doesn't even really know, much about it or whatever. He's not a book reader. He's more of a hands-on type of person, like working in the yard and on cars and his Corvette and things like that. So he's not really a book reader, and that's cool. I have no problems with that. So I think I got these over here. So I start watching, and within the first, 10 minutes? Maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I hear Maureen, who's an Aes Sedai, who's a magic user. We'll call her a magic user. That's not, it's magic, but it's the power, the one power. So here she is talking about how the Dragon Reborn, who is the hero of the story, the main character, because there's several main characters, but he's the main character, how this person could be a girl, a female, a woman, not a man. And I about lost it because I was like, there's no way that these people already effed up the story right from the get-go. And then things just got worse. And I basically found some other people doing reviews on YouTube about the books, the show, how bad it was, what was going on, why are they changing things from the books. I mean, just follow the lore, follow the books. The Dragon Reborn is a man. He's not the dragon, he's the Dragon Reborn. His name is Rand al'Thor. He's a guy. It's not a girl. It's not Egwene, another main character. It's not Nynaeve, another main character. It's Rand al'Thor. So once that happened, I was just soured on the show. I hate watched it the rest of the season. I laughed at it. I groaned at it. I literally couldn't believe how bad they made it. The character assassination, the trashing of the entire story, the costuming is just CW looking. It's just they aged up the main character so they could do the little snoo, as Adam would say. Renaissance nerd. Follow his channel, by the way. Good stuff. Just awful. Awful. And so, as a fan, as a dedicated fantasy fan, not a show, I don't get paid for any of my opinions on fantasy books. I think that's it for this one. If I missed any, I'll just have to come back. I don't get paid for my opinion. And even if I did, I'd be like, well, I'm going to give you my honest opinion, whether you pay me or not. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say what you want me to say. I'll give my opinion. The show is crap. That's just all there is to it. Of course, they wouldn't like that, but whatever. So, this goes up here. This has got some yellows and blues. So I pulled out this one. I thought of doing this little, I see a couple there. And this one is that way. Let's do these couple of clouds. So anyhow, I'll give my honest opinion. And my honest opinion is that the show is total trash. It's a travesty. It's a destruction of his books. It's a destruction of his lore, of his characters. And they don't seem to care. They just don't seem to care. They either don't care or they're doing it maliciously. Like, we're going to destroy this IP to make these book fans really unhappy. And ha ha ha, it's going to make us feel good. Well, you know what? Screw you and your crappy TV show. That's what I say. I have all the books. I have the Wheel of Time Companion, which is like an encyclopedia for the world. And it's a big book. There's a lot of information in it. At any point in time, while I'm watching the TV show, I can run over to the book and cross-reference what the heck they're talking about. Although half the time I don't know what's going on because the show is not following the book. So I'm like, where are they? Why are they there? Why is that person in that scene with this other character? They don't go together. They don't meet till later or whatever, right? Yeah. So I can always go and double check and verify, yep, they did that wrong. There must only a couple clouds. They did that wrong. I got some stuck here. Let me pull this back out. Look at this. Popping all over the place. These in the bag that they came in had quite a bit of static. So they're a little finicky. Okay. So here, so I'm very unhappy and disappointed in the show. Okay, that one goes over here. And that's a shame. I wanted to like it. I wanted to enjoy it. There's not, tons of fantasy shows on TV or streaming or wherever you get your entertainment, whatever. There aren't many. Let's undo that symbol. And so it was disappointing. It's infuriating. I don't understand why Hollywood, Amazon, whoever, can't just follow a story. They did the same thing with Rings of Power, although I understand that they didn't have very much to go with for the story because they don't have the rights, say like to the Silmarillion or whatever. So they were limited in what they could do, but still the writing was crap, the acting was crap, and the show was crap. So that's 2 fantasy series down the tubes because Hollywood just can't follow lore and make characters accurate. I mean, Galadriel is not a warrior. Yeah. Okay. Anyhow, so on the Wheel of Time thing, I'm still continuing to sort of, I call it hate watching with my group online, and we're critiquing it and going over what they're doing and not doing with the story, with the lore, with the characters, with the settings. And we're mostly pretty much all agreed. I mean, there's a few people who have some differing opinions, like they didn't mind that, this particular character, they depicted her a certain way or whatever. But overall, in the grand scheme of things, we're all pretty much in agreement that they just trashed this show, and they don't deserve any accolades for what they did. And if Robert Jordan was alive, he would be furious, and he must be rolling in his grave at what they did to his books. So I am hoping that they just cancel the crap. Just cancel it. Just stop working on it. You don't know what you're doing, and you don't know what you're talking about. And so just stop making it and save yourself some money. I mean, who knows where the money went anyway, because it's not in the costuming. It just looks terrible. Sounds terrible, looks terrible. A lot of the scenes are like way too dark. You can't even see what's going on. It's awful. So, even though I do love the Wheel of Time series, the book series, not the show, my favorite fantasy series is called The Sun Sword, and it's by a lady named Michelle West. So I hope that Hollywood does not know anything about her or her books. There's another fantasy author, Guy Gavriel Kay, or Guy, if you say. I guess he's Canadian. Like, I would hate for Hollywood to get a hold of their works and try and make shows out of it. They would just destroy it. But if they even remotely attempt to touch the Sun Sword, I will bring wrath down on them if they screw it up, which I know they will. They just can't help it. They, their little agendas, or whatever. Changing position here. Their little agendas for whatever purposes that I don't really feel like getting into. It's just silly. All of that stuff is silly, pointless. Let's see if there's any more of this over here. Yeah, if they tried to do the Sun Sword series and made a TV show, I would be like, oh my god, they're gonna destroy it. And I would be totally against it. I'd be like, no, don't touch that. That's like if they tried to do Dragon Riders of Pern or Chronicles of the Darini or any of those other really good high fantasy Riddle Master of Head. If they tried to do those, sinuses. If they tried to do those, it would just be awful. They would just wreck it because that's all they can do is destroy. They can't create. Okay, so I'm doing this little symbol. I think I got them all, but that's the first pass through. I see one. I missed one. Just go up this way. So anyhow, if you wanted to know what my opinion was on the Wheel of Time TV show, there you go. It is total trash, and it's an abomination, and it's not worth your time. If you really want to enjoy the story, see what it's about, learn the characters, get to know them, get to know Rand and Nynaeve and Matt and Perrin in the way that they really are, the way that Robert Jordan portrayed them in the books, and go ahead, pick up the books, try and get the older editions, not the stupid Amazon mass market crap. I see one right there. Where did I say I saw it? Over here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, go ahead and read the books. It's always the best thing to do. And don't let anybody convince you that the show is good when it's not. Okay, let's see here. Wow, all these colors. So we've got kind of like some yellow, beigey, yellowy. We've got kind of purpley in here. And like the orangey, reddish brownish over there. So let's do that crescent moon. What's this one here? It's 415. It's gray. So I don't even have, like when I do Magic Potion, I have all those different trays out with all the different drill colors spread out. But I don't do that here because, yeah, I was working on one color at a time. There's too many colors in here in this section to remotely attempt more than one tray. I would lose it. So I'm gonna kind of go up and down, try and go like that. So I did finally get my cross stitch project stuff ready, and I started it. I did test this gigantic piece of fabric on a frame, on an embroidery, whatever cross stitch frame. But it's kind of too big, and I don't think that's gonna work until maybe later on. I don't know. I might have to just like hand sew it, hand cross stitch it. Oh, I like that music. Slick. Nice. So yeah, so I started that. I'll probably take some pictures and put them up on X, Instagram, whatever. And kind of let you see how that's going to go. That's going to be a Heaven and Earth design, Amy Stewart artwork called Once Upon a Fairy Tale. So that one has a lot of colors too. So I did the square here. So see, you got the crescent moon here, and the half circle. My laptop wants to go into power saving. Stupid thing. So you kind of have to be careful you don't do the wrong symbol, which I did earlier. That's how I know. But I'm going to try not to make the same mistake. So I admit to when I make a mistake. I don't have any problem doing that. It's like, oops, I screwed that up. Let's see. So they're up here. They're almost like in little, I'm going to say little clusters, little mini clusters, but it's not color blocking. So you still have to do it, this individual. Oh, this one's trash, it's too thin. Throw that away. It's a reject. That's half circles. Here we go. So on my website, celestialrealms.com, if you go to the About Me section, I do have a page that lists the fantasy books that I like and science fiction, because of course I also like science fiction. And I've read some pretty bizarre science fiction, but I love it. I haven't really read much lately. I kind of got away from it. I'm trying to think of when that happened. And kind of basically stuck with fantasy more than science fiction. I'm not sure why, but I just kind of got away from it. I still like it. I just don't tend to read it very often anymore. For a long time, I didn't even do much reading. A lot going on in life and moving around. I used to belong to the science fiction book club, and I would get all my books from there, and they were all like hardbacks. Awesome. I probably had 4 4 tall bookcases that were just full of science fiction, fantasy books, and history, because that's the other thing I'm interested in. So, and art, and maybe some other like literature books. Um, yeah, and so when I got divorced from the kid's dad a very long time ago, I kept most of my books, but not all of them. And then I did another move where I brought my books with me, but I didn't bring them back with me. Maybe only just a few of them, maybe a couple of the favorites. So I lost most of my books. I still think about that. It's sad because I really love my books. They were like, the stories are great, good company. I'm not much of a social butterfly. Can't stand it. I hate shallow talk, and just don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy being in huge groups of people with a bunch of people getting drunk and acting like fools. Um, that's just not my style. I mean, if it's your style, go for it, but it's just not my style. And even when I was young, I didn't even go to my high school graduation party, even though I knew where the party was. I knew who was holding it. I had been invited, and I was just like, no, I think I'm good. I don't want to go be around all that. Bunch of drunk people um, acting silly. So I think my older brother and I'm looking for that symbol. My older brother and I think we got like a 6-pack or something. I don't know. Just hung out together, watched TV, and played cards or something. We were always playing cards. So we played a lot of different games because, of course, there were the older 4, and then there's a 10-year gap, and then there's the youngest 2. So remember, it's boy, girl, big 10-year gap, and then boy, boy. So since there were 4 of us, it was perfect for teams. I think I got all of them. So we could play cards or Monopoly, Battleship, Feudal, Pictionary, Risk. Some of the other ones. I mean, we had everything: Trouble, Parcheesi, Yahtzee, Uno. Like we had like all of them, all the games. And then we also had the book. I think that was the last one. According to Hoyle, which is a book with a bunch of card games in it and the rules and how to play it. And so we would, rainy day or whatever, it's cold, too cold to go hang outside after school or in the weekend, we would grab the book and teach ourselves a game. So we taught ourselves like how to play canasta, how to play samba. What was the other one? It's called, I forget. It's got like 4 cards in the middle on a bridge. I'd have to look it up, but we know how to play cribbage, poker, rummy, gin rummy, all these card games. So let's do this brown guy. He's right here. This little guy. So we were always playing cards when we weren't busy doing band or other things. So I think the night of this doesn't go in there. The night of my, oh Lord, the graduation party. I just didn't go. I just didn't want to go. Maybe these things are all stuck together. Why are they stuck together? I don't know. I can break them apart. Okay. Yeah, see, there's some of them that are like stuck together. Well, that's dumb. I don't know why they're like that. Ooh. Okay, so I'm doing the little man. Let's look for the little man. The little person. It could be a woman. Yeah. There's one there. I wonder how long the dogs are going to sleep, how long they're going to let me stream. Who knows? They're kind of lazy during the day. They don't start getting really rowdy until right before the hubby gets home. Yeah, it's almost like they know he's coming home. Then they're like, oh yeah, we're going to play now. I'm like, oh, you don't play all day long. But they're always happy to see him. Okay, so these should be fairly easy to spot. Well, I don't know, none of the symbols are that easy to spot. Because you can look at this and go, where should I start? And, there's no real place to start. I mean, you could pick maybe this symbol here and work your way that way or whatever. But there's no big chunk of color where you can go, well, let me just do all this color right here. And it takes up a big section. It's just a bunch of jibble-jee-jook. You like that new word? I just made that up. I don't think there's any over here because I don't see, there's only a little bit of dark left over here, right here. This is kind of light color. And I kind of got a little bit of light glare going on, so I'm kind of leaning back and forth, left and right over here, trying to see what I am doing. There's one. Usually if there's one, there'll be another one nearby. They're like little mini cluster. It's not a cluster, that's the wrong word. It might just be like the shading. So I see there's one there, and then there's one nearby. So they're close to each other. But see here, there's one there. I'm not really following a pattern on looking for them because my eyes are jacked up. Okay, let's see here. There's two here. Okay. If I see one of those other little Pac-Men, I might be like, oh no, I forgot one. See, this little dark area here, here, here. But I guess the little guy, he's kind of medium, like a medium brown. There's one down there. Here. What happened here? You fell off. No, you don't go there. So maybe do this flag one next. Let me just do one more pass through here. See, there's one there. Let's try go square by square and do it in some sort of semi-coherent fashion. I lose my mind. Well, I've been working on this all day, so it's like, there's one there. I don't really recommend working on it for as long as I've been working on it. It is tiring. Your eyes do get tired. Looking at all these tiny little symbols. Yeah. Okay. If I see another one, I'll just pull them out and fix it. So, anyhow. So let's see, we talked about the Wheel of Time. I told you about my little cross stitch project. The other thing I got coming up, get some water. I have the fans off, so it's quieter in here, but it's warm. So coming up on the 22nd is the anniversary of my son's death. So, it's been over a year, but it's still really hard. My son, he was a precious child. He was a good child. He was a good son. He's very smart, very bright. He was in the International Baccalaureate program in his school, which is like higher than honors, from what I understand. After his dad and I divorced, they went and lived with him. I was in no mental shape at that point in time because I was really suffering from depression, and I basically had like a major depressive episode where I ended up in the hospital. What a trip that was, with a bunch of other women suffering from depression. And I hadn't even really been aware I was suffering from depression. I just, I knew I wasn't happy. And I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to just pour some in here. What am I doing? Spacing out. Boomering. So anyhow, so they went and lived with him, and I came down from, we were in Indiana. My ex was going to South Bend, to Notre Dame. Go Irish. And I came down to Texas and moved in with my mom and stayed with my mom. And her new husband, and he was really cool. He was a down-home guy from Oklahoma. Really sweet, great personality. I think of him as my dad, you know. My laptop wants to go into the stupid. I never did look into the power saving mode thing. Yeah, stop that. So, so I came down and stayed with my mom. And I miss my kids. I miss my kids from the day that I left them and got on the train to come down here to the Dallas area. And it was just awful. So we were separated for quite a long time. We did see each other in the summers, alternating Christmases, sometimes every Christmas. It just depended on, his schedule and what was going on. He's a professor. So, I didn't get to see them very much. I didn't, raise them. He did most of the raising. When my daughter was a young teen, 12 or so, she told him, hey, I want to go live with mom. So she came and lived with him. So I had a little house, and we were living together, and she started doing things that were not very nice, not very pleasant, partying and all that kind of nonsense. And then my son came, and then she kind of went off on her own, doing her own thing. My son came and he lived with me. So with my mom and my two brothers, who were also living with my mom. So it was like 3 acres of land, so there was lots of space. And by this time, my son was maybe like, I want to say 16, but maybe more like 15. Look, there's this little man right there. Maybe 15. And, okay, where did I see him? Here. And of course, he was doing his partying where he was coming from in Florida. There's one there. And it got to the point where he didn't want to go to school. He just wanted to party. And I was like, no. You go to school, or you go back and you live with your dad. try and deal with it with him. So he went back to his dad. So he got into a lot of trouble. Dropped out of school, dealing drugs, doing drugs. His dad was trying to get him in rehab. Then he came back out this way, and there's another one of those, and I was trying to get him in rehab, and it was just a roller coaster for the next, 20 years. I don't know what he started off as far as like his first drug. It's probably alcohol. I'm assuming alcohol, maybe marijuana, maybe both. And the little gang that he was hanging around with, his little group of friends, they all started doing more than just that. So I think the main thing that was his downfall was opioids, was OxyContin. So that was real prevalent back in Florida, because I was living in Florida by this time, because I had remarried. And he lived in Florida, so I was living in Florida, which is where my son's dad was living. So, it was just this up and down and the struggle of trying to find him help and help that he would accept, and long-term help. Trying to figure out how to pay for it. Is it covered by insurance? How much do they cover? How long would he stay in there before he just, either gave up or was kind of ready to try a normal life? I mean, he just didn't have a normal life. It was either this phase of, I'm trying to recover from taking drugs and get my life back together and get a job or go to school or something like that, to I'm homeless, I'm in jail, I'm broke, I'm gonna, steal from you, this kind of just extremes of behavior. And it just was so anxiety inducing. I worried about him all the time. It was terrible. Terrible. His dad worried about him. His sister worried about him. Everybody worried about him. I mean, we all loved him. Nobody, started hating him or whatever. But his behavior just became out of control when he was using. He was like a different person. He was not, the son that I had known when he was young. He was just a different person. And it was sad and it was tragic. It was infuriating. Why is this child doing this? Why can't he get it together? Or why does he only get it together for like a little bit of time, and then he just crashes and burns? I mean, he tried to kill himself. He totaled my car doing that. I got a phone call from him at 2 o'clock in the morning. He's like, "Mom, I'm in the hospital. Yeah, I totaled the car." And I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, it's been a nightmare. And he married, and I thought that he was kind of getting it together. And he did the little song and dance where he would tell me, I'm not using anymore. I got a job, blah blah blah. Everything's going well. And he had a daughter. And he would relapse, and then the drama would start all over again. Oh, there's another guy right there. The drama would start all over again, and he would go back to square one, and it would just start all over again. The same cycle that he'd been going through since he was a teenager. And of course, those are stuck together. I wanted to help him. I tried to help him. I would send him money, give him food, buy him clothes, whatever. See if I could talk my mom into letting him stay there. Where was it? Right here. We all still tried to help him, but he would basically just lie about his drug use. He would say, I'm no, yeah, I'm not using, I'm clean, but like you could just tell like weird behavior because he was doing meth and heroin or alternating or both or what he was doing, but much stronger drugs, and it had just escalated past the OxyContin and the alcohol. He was never much of an alcohol drinker. So yeah, I just got out of control, and to the point where he went to go get high, parked his car back in the alley behind his house where he's living with his ex and his daughter and her mom, and thought he was doing, I guess, either heroin or meth or both. I don't know what was in it, but apparently it was laced with fentanyl. And I think he may have realized. They found him kind of half out of the car, almost as if like he realized like something was wrong. Like I guess it wasn't a normal high. Not that I would know how that feels, but I think he knew something was wrong. I don't know if he was scared. I hope he wasn't scared. I hope he just realized, oh, something's wrong. I got to get out. And he just passed away there. And that's where his ex found him in the morning when he didn't come in. And of course it was too late. He was gone. It's a terrible thing that a parent should have to lose their child early on like that. I mean, when my daughter called me to tell me, I think the ex, where'd it go? Oh Lord, I think it was over here somewhere, right? Yeah. I think the ex called his dad, and then he called my daughter, and then she called me. So I just screamed when she told me. She was like, "He's gone." I was like, "What are you talking about? He's gone." I just screamed and just started crying. I just literally could not believe it. I called my husband and screamed in the phone. It's Devin. His name is Devin. It's like he's gone. Of course, he rushed home, and I was a wreck. I was just a wreck. So after all these months of him being gone, and of course I lost my mom, 5 months before he passed away. So I've been dealing with that. I'm still sad. It's a strange journey, this journey of loss. You kind of feel at first like your life is over. You feel broken, like your soul is broken. And I was so close with him. He was like my soul child. And I just felt broken. And yes, he's living there. Hello. And so, it's just been a matter of recovering in this journey of pain and sorrow. And I was mad at him. There was so much anger. I was so pissed at him. It's like, how could you do that? You have a daughter. You're so young. You have so much life to live. And, just lots of tears and missing him. Trying not to delve too much on how it happened, the technicalities of it. And so I've gotten to the point where, obviously I accept that he's gone. I don't like it. And I also accept that I think maybe somewhere in the back of my mind, a part of me kind of always knew that the drugs would do him in. Like, so even though I was shocked, I wasn't surprised. That makes any sense. And this is the power. There's another guy right there. Well, I did that terribly. The power of addiction is bad. I mean, they will do anything for that. Just totally destroy their life. And he did. So even though I was shocked that it happened and saddened that it happened, I wasn't surprised. Because I had always thought, like, in the back of my mind, quietly, not really talking about it with other people, other than maybe like family members, my mom, that, you know, one day he would just die from it. And he did. So now his daughter has no dad. Okay, I know I saw one of those little men over. Oh, there he is. Oh my gosh. Try not to lose the spot. Oh gosh. I'm kind of fishing for it. Okay, here we go. Okay, here. There it is. So yeah, so life throws you some pretty traumatic events, and you can get through them. I mean, you might think that you can. It's difficult, but you can get through it. You don't forget about the person that you loved. You don't hate them. You know, one of the thoughts I have is that he's not in any pain anymore. He doesn't have the addiction. He's free from the addiction. So death kind of became his freedom, which is an odd kind of thing to say about your child, but death became his freedom from that, because I just don't think he was ever going to ever be truly able to stop all the way for any long period of time. It's just the way that either his body work with the chemical reaction or whatever, genetics, whatever. Okay, I think I'm done with that one for now. Okay, does it look like I've made any progress? Not really. That's sad. But that's, you know, part of these difficult projects. Let's do this dark color. So since the canvas is upside down, because this is the top of the canvas, so when I'm looking at the symbols, I'm looking at them in the wrong direction. So I always have to double check. So like this U is going that way. So put the wrong color in the wrong place. Let's see. See, these are stuck together too. Try and break them apart. I just kind of squish them against the tray. See if I can break them apart. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm trying to make sure they don't go flying everywhere. So anyhow, loss, life and loss. What is this doing down there? It's part of it. You know, a lot of people, they don't realize, and they don't want to think about the fact that they're going to pass away. Death is inevitable. It's just part of the human condition. It's part of life, part of our life. I don't think our society does a very good job teaching people on how to deal with death and loss. I know that when my kids were little, we had lots of pets. I mean, I've had cats, and my brothers have had other animals, lots of pets, since we were young. And of course, when you have pets, you run into loss. It's inevitable. It's another inevitability. That's fun to say when you're stopped up. I think that's a good reason for kids to have pets, so that if loss does happen, they learn at an earlier age how to deal with at least some form of loss that's not directly related to their self. It's something other than them, something other that they're caring for and that they love. Uh, and then when that loss happens, the parent teaches them how to deal with that loss, how to honor that pet or whatever, right? My grandmother passed away when I was maybe like in 6th grade, and my mom got me through that. Lots of communicating, being open with your feelings, and remembering the good parts. So, our society, nobody wants to talk about dying. Nobody wants to think about it. We live as if we'll live eternally, and we may live eternally in spirit. Um, at least I believe that we're eternal in that way. Um, but people just live as if they'll just live forever. They never think about the fact that they could die. How it would affect other people. Um, I wish they would change that. It's healthier. Just talk about it, um, accept it, and maybe they would respect life more and appreciate the simple things, the little things in life more, rather than just willy nilly going around like, life doesn't matter when it does matter. So I had that U that went that way, this way. I got some that go up. I think that's this one. I'll hold it this way. Yeah. I don't think there's many. There's a few. Let's see how long have I been going. An hour. I'll be done soon. I know the dogs are going to wake up. Let's finish these U's, these purple U's. I like that music. It's pretty chill. I found this one piece of music last night because, of course, I have tinnitus, which I have that ringing in my ears. So I was trying to get that to just calm down. And I found this really nice piece of music where it was like a self-guided meditation using the Jose Silva method, but the music's by what's his name? Christopher something. I don't know. I can't remember. But oh my gosh, that music was beautiful. When I was done listening to it, it's just super relaxing. I felt really much better. The tinnitus had subsided. Hey, get back on here. Ooh. The tinnitus had subsided where it wasn't like really irking me, and I was able to sleep, because it's really hard to sleep when you've got constant ringing in your ears and you're like, oh my god, shut up, stop the noise, stop the madness. And it's not curable, so, and all you can do is just mask the sound. I think that was it for these. It's just terrible. So all week, last night, I've been waking up in the middle of the night. So I've been waking up at midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 3:30, whatever, all sorts of different times. And it's just, it's exhausting. So finding that music, that was just really helpful to relax, fall asleep, deep sleep, and maybe just ease that tinnitus somewhat, so it's not like torturing me. So Okay, I think I'll stop there. So tomorrow, so I'm going to leave this canvas here on the desk. So tomorrow I will, probably in the morning when I wake up early, since I wake up early, some water. I will come over here and finish this. There's little gaps over here where I have to go back and finish filling this in. So once I fill this in, like from here over, then I'll come back over here and start working back over here in this area and work until I meet over here. And then I'll just continue that way on the canvas. And it's just looking really, really pretty. And I'm actually really pleased with how the drills are staying together. Like, I don't see a bunch of gapping going on. They're actually, like, pretty much next to each other. So either I'm doing something right, or the canvas is printed right, or the drills are the right size, or everything's conspiring together to actually make it look like pretty nice. I like it. Like it, like it, like it. So if you're here and you're working, lurking, watching quietly in the background, I appreciate it. I'll try and get another gaming live stream done. Maybe if I can feel better. We're having an ozone alert day as well. So between the air quality, the pollen, and the lack of sleep, we'll see if I have the energy to do so. And because I want to do a Fae Farm update. I just did an Animal Crossing update on my main island. And then maybe I'll try and get another stream done tomorrow. And we can continue on this way. So I'll leave this canvas here. I have the other canvases hanging on the wall behind. I did a big section this weekend on the witch's study room. So I did like a big section. And then I finished the bottle that was on Magic Potion and the little fairy that was right there next to the bottle. I finished that whole section this weekend as well. So I'm going to continue moving this way on that one. But I hung it up out of the way so I could work on bubble flower here. Leave a comment, share the video, like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I really appreciate it. And I know it's just a little chill stream, but not every YouTuber needs to be loud and screechy and excited. So what can I say? This is what happens when you get older. You start getting more tired, quieter. You've already said so many words in your life. You just get to the point where you're like, yeah, I'll talk, but I'm not going to scream my head off. And your emotions are more under control. Life is different, and you're different. And it's not worse. It's actually really good. You've come to terms with lots of things, your past and who you are, and you're just generally content with how things are with life. And that's a good thing. That's how you want to be. You want to be content. You don't want to be unhappy and bitter. So, yeah, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Let me go ahead and I'm going to knock the Spotify off. And thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And you all have a good day. Be sparkly, be kind to other people, and make the world a better place. I'll see you next time.